والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما. Today we are going to learn about the verb forms, أوزان الفعل. Before starting the actual lesson 1 from unit 3 about the different Arabic forms or families, I want you all to learn some basic concepts first so that that'll make it easy for you all to understand the lessons after, inshallah. So let's begin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And some of the charts in this video are the hard work of our students of Ustad Noman Ali Khan from Bayyina Dream Program. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them and accept it from them. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. And let's start. Most Arabic words are derived from a three-letter, that is trilateral root. And each trilateral Arabic root can theoretically be transformed into one of 15 possible verb forms, that is Al-Awzan. And forms 11 to forms 15 are very rare, so people usually just focus on forms 1 to 10. And although form 9 is also pretty rare, but it has occurred in the Quran, and each form has a basic meaning associated with the general meaning of the root being used. And there are 10 forms or measures of Arabic verbs, which means that there are 10 different ways to see a verb in Arabic. And these are not the only 10 verb forms, but these are the most common verb forms. Awzanul fi'l. Form 1 is the default. This expresses the general verbal meaning of the root in question. And we know about the 6 small families, Thulathi Mujarrad, and I've discussed each of the Thulathi Mujarrad families SARF chart in detail in my previous video, that is SARF. You can check the video and the link is given in the description. We will be learning about the big families in this video. And you all know what are the big families called in Arabic. Thulathi, Mazid, Fi, you're right. And these 10 forms are categorized into 3 different groups. Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. The first group, here we have the form 2, that is the causative of form 1, that is fa'ala yufa'ilu. And we have form 3 associative of form 1, that is fa'ala yufa'ilu. And next we have form 4, that is causative of form 1, that is af'ala yuf'ilu. And notice that in the first group, the mudari starts with a dhamma and the kasra on the second last letter, and it ends with an u sound. Yufa'ilu, 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 right? And the next group is the ta fatha family. Here we have the form 5, that is reflexive of form 2, tafa'ala yatafa'alu. And then we have form 6, the reflexive of form 3, tafa'ala yatafa'alu. And notice that here all the madi starts with a ta, tafa'ala, tafa'ala. And the mudari starts with a ya with a fatha and an a sound in between and ends with an u sound. Yatafa'alu, yatafa'alu. And this is the group 2. Now let's move to our group 3. That is, we have form 7, reflexive of form 1, infa'ala yanfa'ilu. Form 8, reflexive of form 1, ifta'ala yafta'ilu. And form 10, istaf'ala yastaf'ilu. This is for seeking. And here all the madis start with an e sound. Infa'ala, ifta'ala, istaf'ala. And the mudari starts with a ya with a fatha, has an e sound on the second last letter, and ends with an u sound. Yanfa'ilu, yafta'ilu, yastaf'ilu. And let's take the examples of form 2, that is allama yu'allimu. And form 3 is jahada yujahidu. And form 4 is aslama yuslimu. And form 5 is ta'allama yata'allamu. Form 6 is tasa'ala yatasa'alu. Form 7 is inqalaba yanqalibu. Form 8 is iqtaraba yaqtaribu. And form 10 is istaghfara yastaghfiru. This is how the whole entire chart for forms 1 to form 10 look like. And let me actually simplify it for you. This table is divided into 4 main types: the meaning of the measure, and meaning that is added when the verbs come in this form, like form 2, form 3, form 4, all the way form 10. And the second is the measure. This is the type of the measure which is given in Roman numerals from form 1 to form 10. And next is we have, it is divided into nouns and verbs. And verbs are again divided into active verbs and passive verbs. So active is the, passive is the majhul. And active we have the maruf form, that is the past tense. We have the madi maruf would be fa'ala all the way until istaf'ala. And then we have the mudare maruf, that is the present tense, yaf'alu yufa'ilu all the way until yastaf'ilu. And then we have amr or imperative command, it's gonna be fa'ala yaf'alu if'al or fa'il, and the last one is istaf'il. And about the passives, the majhul, we have the past passive, madi majhul. That is, we have fa'ala becomes fu'ila, 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 and all the way up to ustuf'ila. And the mudari majhul, the present passive would be fa'ala yaf'alu would be yuf'alu, yufa'alu, yufa'alu, all the way until yustaf'alu. And about the nouns, we have the masdar, the idea, right? It refers to the noun that are formed from the verbs, right? Masdar is a verb that's turned into a noun. And we have the, for the form 1, we have different patterns. We don't know, we have to look up into the dictionary, but the rest of the families from form 2 to form 10, we have the set masdar pattern. And next we have the active participle, that is ism fa'il. This is the doer of the verb, right? The doer of the action. So here we have fa'ilun, and then mufa'ilun, and all the way up until mustafa'ilun. And then we have the passive participle ism maf'ul. This is the recipient or the receiver state. Ism maf'ul would be maf'ulun, mufa'alun, all the way until mustaf'alun. And the last one is the var, that is place or time. These are words that refer to places and times which are derived from the root of the verb, ismul makan and ismul zaman. And we have this muf'alun, and the varf is similar. It looks exactly like the ism maf'ul, maf'ul, mufa'alun, mufa'alun, all the way to mustaf'alun, mustaf'alun, from form 2 to form 10. And this table is quite regular. All verbs of all forms follow this pattern all the time, except for form 1. And form 1 is the most basic form. It's the default form and does not affect the basic meaning of the verb. Now let's begin our forms 2 to form 10. Let's start with form 2, the allama family. Here alima, he knew, is the original verb, he had knowledge, right? But when we use it in form 2, fa'ala, it becomes allama, which means he taught, which means he passed knowledge on. So the form 2 is the fa'ala yufa'ilu. Verbs in this form can be recognized by the shadda or the double letter on their middle or the second root letter, and they are often causative or intensive counterparts of verbs in form 1. For example, if I say dakhala, to enter, that is form 1, but dakhala would be to bring in. Or if I say kasara, is to break. But kassara is to shatter, and this is built on form 1 by doubling the middle radical of the form 1 verb, adding a shadda to it. And this is often an intensive version of the form 1 form, especially if the form 1 verb is transitive. And the visual clues for form 2 is shadda on the middle root letter, allama, and the mudari starts with a dhamma, allama yu'allimu, or fa'ala yufa'ilu. And the SARF chart for this is, we have the madi chart, past tense, allama, he taught, mudari yu'allimu, he teaches, ta'liman, masdar, education, mu'allimun, that is the fa'il, person with the job, this mu'allimun. And then we have ullima, he was taught, this is madi majhul, yu'allamu, he is taught, mudari majhul. And then we have mu'allamun, this is ism maf'ul. And then we have allim, that is command, teach, la tu'allim, don't teach, this is nahi. And then we have mu'allamun. Notice that ism maf'ul mu'allamun and the verb mu'allamun, they both are same for these form 2 to form 10 families. And for some of the families, you make the ism fa'il by replacing the mudari. We have yu'allimu. Here you replace the you with the mu, and it becomes mu'allimu. But then you put a tanween because this is a noun, so it is mu'allimun. And how do you make ism maf'ul? You take the mudari majhul yu'allamu. Again, you replace you with the mu, it becomes mu'allamu. And you put a tanween, it becomes mu'allamun. Let's see the form 3, that is fa'ala yufa'ilu. And these verbs in this form have an alif, long A sound after their first root letter, they often have a meaning relating to acting on or with another entity. For example, if I say kataba is to write, but kataba is to correspond with, and this is built on form 1 by adding an alif between the first and the second radicals of the form 1 verb. And this usually gives an associative meaning to the form 1 verb, and this describes someone doing the act in question to or with someone else. So if I say amala, which means to work, but if I say amala, which means to treat or deal with. So this is relation of the action to another person. So here it's two parties competing with each other. And the visual clues for form 3 are jahada, right? Long alif sound. And this family has two masdars, okay? And the mudari starts with a dhamma. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. And the search chart for form 3 is we have jahada, he struggled, yujahidu, he struggles, jihadan wa mujahadatan. So there are two masdars, jihadan and mujahadatan, that is struggle. Mujahidun, one who struggles. How do you get this ism fa'il? Yujahidu, replace you with mu, it becomes mujahidu, and then put a tanween, mujahidun. And then juhida, he was struggled, madi majhul, mudari majhul is yujahadu, and then we have mujahadun. And how do you get the ism maf'ul? You take the mudari majhul yujahadu, replace it with mu, it becomes mujahadu, and then put a tanween, mujahadun. And then command is jahid, struggle, la tujahid, nahi, don't struggle, and mujahadun is same as the ism maf'ul. Let's move to our form 4, that is the af'ala yuf'ilu. And these verbs can be recognized by the initial hamza in the madi past tense conjugation, and they are often causative counterparts of verbs in form 1. For example, if I say sha'ara is to know, but ash'ara is to inform, and these are built on form 1 by prefixing a hamza to the form 1 verb by putting a sukun over the first radical. And this is similar to form 2 in that it is usually a causative version of the form 1 form. For example, if I say kharaja, which means to go out, kharraja, form 2, which means to graduate, and akhraja means to expel or evict or to produce. So these are transitive, immediate, and complete. And the visual clues for form 4 is aslama. So here, past tense, the madi starts with an extra hamza, and the mudari starts with a dhamma, aslama yuslimu, and then the command has a special helper hamza. So here, only in this family, the command has a hamza. So af'il. We are going to learn the SARF chart. That is, we have aslama, he submitted, yuslimu, he submits, islaman, submission, muslimun. How do you get the ism file? Yuslimu, it becomes muslimun. And uslima, he was submitted. Yuslamu, he is submitted. Muslamun. How do you get this? Yuslamu becomes muslamun. And then we have aslim. This is the special hamza here in only this family. The command, you never had a command with hamza with a fatha on it, right? We either had qatala yaqtulu uqtul or daraba yadribu idrib, right? But in this case, especially for form 4, the command would be aslim. You have a fatha on the hamza. La tuslim, don't submit. Muslamun will be same as isam maf'ul. Next is form 5, that is tafa'ala yatafa'alu. This word form is created by prefixing ta to form 2, and it tends to have a passive or reflexive meaning. For example, ta'allama, right? This is built on form 2 by adding the prefix ta to the form 2 verb. So let's see the visual clues. Tafarraqa, we have an extra ta before the first root letter, and then shadda on the second root letter, and it likes the fatha a sound, tafarraqa. And also it has, this form 5 has gradualism, like to slowly or gradually do something. For example, if I say nazala, which means he came down, but if I say tanazzala, he came down gradually. Hafiza is he memorized, but tahaffada is he memorized gradually. And it also have a new meaning. For kalima is to endure, takallama is to speak. So this indicates an act that takes effort. And the sarf is tafarraqa, he divided, yatafarraqu, he divides, tafarruqan, division, mutafarriqun. And from form 5 onwards, the ism fa'il will be a little slightly different. So here we have yatafarraqu as the mudari, but the ism fa'il is mutafarriqun, like muslimun, and ism maf'ul will be muslamun pattern. So mutafarriqun, mutafarraqun will be, and then we have tafarraq, divide, command, and then we have la tatafarraq, don't divide. And mutafarraqun is same as the ism maf'ul. Next is form 6, that is tafa'ala yatafa'alu. This verb form is created by prefixing ta to form 3, and it tends to have a reflexive or reciprocal meaning. And for example, if I say kataba is to write, takataba is to correspond with each other. And this is built on form 3 by adding the prefix ta to the form 3 verb. So if I say amala means to treat or deal with someone, and ta'amala means to deal with each other. So form 6 is usually intransitive, and it is like, two parties cooperating. So the visual clues are, you have the awana, extra ta before the first root letter and long alif after the first root letter, and this likes the fatha a sound, ta'awana, tafa'ala. And this displays a quality. In the singular, the meaning is pretending. For example, if I say mata is he died, but tamawata is he pretended to die, or marida is he became sick, tamarada is he pretended to be sick. And also it has a new meaning. For example, if I say baraka is to sit on your knees, but tabaraka is to be full of blessings. And the difference between form 6 and form 5 is form 5 has an extra ta before the first root letter, shadda on the second root letter, and likes the fatha a sound. And form 6 is extra ta before the first root letter, long alif after the first root letter, and it likes the fatha a sound. And the form 6 surf chart is tasa'ala, he asked, yatasa'alu, he asks, tasa'ulan, asking, and mutasa'ilun, one who asked, tusu'ila, he was asked, yutasa'alu, he is being asked, tasa'ulan is asking, and mutasa'alun, the doer fa'il was mutasa'ilun, and the maf'ul is mutasa'alun, one who is asked. And command is tasa'al, and then nahi is la tatasa'al, don't ask, and the verb is mutasa'alun, same as isam maf'ul. Next is form 7, that is reflexive of form 1. This verb form is created by prefixing in to form 1, and it tends to have a reflexive or a passive meaning. For example, if I say kasara is to break, in kasara is to be broken, and this is built on form 1 by adding the prefix in to the form 1 verb. And this usually is a reflexive or a passive version of form 1. So qata'a is to cut or cut off, in qata is to, the meaning is to be cut off or to abstain. And the visual clues are extra noon before the first root letter, and in qalaba. Since form 7 is always intransitive, therefore there are no passives here for this family. And the surf chart is in qalaba, he turned away, yanqalibu, he turns away, inqilaban, turning away, munqalibun, this is some fa'il, and there are no passives for this family. And then we have inqalib, that is command, turn away, la tanqalib, don't turn away, munqalabun. Next is form 8, that is ifta'ala yafta'ilu. This verb form is created by infixing ta after the first root consonant and prefixing e when there is no other prefix added to the verb. And it often has a reflexive or passive meaning. Okay. So this is built on form 1 by adding the prefix e to the form 1 verb and placing a sukun, and it must be placed over its first radical. And this is often a reflexive version of form 1. For example, if I say jama'a, which means to collect or to gather, ijtama'a, which means to meet or to agree. So this is the reflexive of form 1, and it indicates being in a state of something. So the visual clues are iqtaraba family. Here the extra ta after the first letter, first root letter is there. Iqtaraba, like ifta'ala. And it also has a meaning of hyperbole. Like for example, we have qadara, he had power. Iqtadara, he had a lot of power. And sometimes it has a meaning to acquire something after hard effort. Like if I say kasaba, it means he earned. But if I say iktasaba, he went through hardship to earn. He struggled to earn. Okay, like there is an example ayah from Surah Baqarah, laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat, right? That's what it is. And also it has a meaning like to make something one's own. For example, if I say hada, right, he guided. Ihtada, he acquired guidance and he was committed to guidance. Or if I say qatalu, is he killed. But iqtatalu, they kill themselves on their own. The surf chart is iqtaraba, he brought close, yaqtaribu, he brings close, iqtiraban, bringing close, muqtaribun, uqturiba, yuqtarabu, muqtarabun, iqtarib, la taqtarib, muqtarabun. And the difference between Form 7 and Form 8 is Form 7 has extra noon between first root letter and there are no passives for Form 7, and Form 8 is extra ta after the first root letter. And next is our Form 9. This is the rare form that mostly occurs with a few verbs that describe color and physical defects. For example, we have ihmarra, like if Allah pattern, he reddened or he blushed, or ikhdarra, it turned green, right? And this is built on Form 1 by adding the prefix e to the Form 1, and by placing a sukun over the first radical and adding a shadda to the last radical. Ihmarra, if'alla. So here hamar relates to redness. Ihmarra means to become or turn red. So this basically relates to colors or body defects. And the visual clues are ihmarra. So here colors, this is used only for the colors or body defects. Colors only, and you have shadda at the end, and this has come 11 times in the Quran. And you have like black, white, green, and yellow colors. And also there are no passives to this form. And the search chart is ihmarra, he turned red. Yahmarru, he turns red. Ihmiraran, turning red. Muhmarrun, and there are no passives. And then for the command, it's going to be ihmarra, ihmarri, ihmarir. Remember, we have learned the muda'af lesson. You can go back and check that video. That is madda yamuddu. In that we have multiple commands. So even here we have 3 commands. La tahmarra, la tahmarri, la tahmarir is don't turn red. And muhmarrun is the verb. And this form is used to denote colors and body defects, and this is always lazim. And when wanting to show that the color or defect is extremely prominent, an extra alif is added. So converting this to Form 11. Inshallah, we are going to learn about Form 11 in our later lesson. So isfarra, it was yellow. Isfarra, it was extremely yellow. Okay. And the last one is Form 10, that is istaf'ala yastaf'ilu. And this form is created by dropping the first vowel of Form 1 and prefixing it with the ista. And then these verbs often have a meaning related to requesting or seeking something. For example, istafhama, fahima is to understand, istafhama is to inquire, right? And kataba is to write, and istaktaba, which means to ask somebody to write, right? And this is built on Form 1 by adding the prefix ista to the Form 1 verb. And this is often the considerative version of Form 1, which means to consider or to deem someone to have the quality of the Form 1 verb in question. So the visual clues are ista is there here. This is ista family, istafara, right? And sometimes it has a meaning to ask for something, like want something or make efforts to get something. For example, ghafara is to forgive, like he forgave. Istaghfara, he asked for, or he wanted, or he tried to earn forgiveness. Same with adhina, he gave permission. Ista'adhana is he asked for or wanted or tried to get permission. So this includes the meaning of asking, wanting, and trying at the same time. And sometimes it also has hyperbole and increase, like we have kabura is he was big. Istakbara is he became very big or he wanted to be big. And the difference between Form 9 and Form 10 are, Form 9 is the color family and you have the shadda at the end, and Form 10 is the ista family. And the SARF pattern for Form 10 is istaghfara, he sought forgiveness. Yastaghfiru, he seeks forgiveness. Istighfaran, forgiveness. Now you know where the istighfar comes from. Then we have mustaghfirun, mustaghfarun, ism fa'il and ism maf'ul. Ustughfira, yustaghfaru, istighfaran. Istaghfir, seek forgiveness. La tastaghfir, don't seek forgiveness. Mustaghfarun, this is the verb. Alhamdulillah, we are done with our forms lesson. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can comment me on the comment section below, or you can contact me on qlme2017@gmail.com. If there's anything good in this video, it's only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the mistakes are from me. Jazakallahu khairan.